Welcome back to, we're calling it Ben the Menace now. It's a good name.
Yeah, I told you to wear a wig and you didn't.
Wear a wig? Oh, the Dennis the Menace wig, yeah. A blonde wig?
Yes.
Well, and we should introduce you. This is Nikki Bon.
Well, you looked at me like, is it a good name? So I was like, oh, am I supposed to speak now?
Yeah, I mean, this isn't like Tiger Belly. You can talk.
Oh,
have you listened to Tiger Belly?
It's not Tiger Belly?
No. I said this isn't like Tiger Belly.
Oh, yeah, okay. I know. Yeah. I'm here.
It's significantly more popular among severely mentally ill people.
Do they like it when you call them mentally ill on the podcast?
I think they would like that more than calling them insane.
They're not insane.
Some of them, anyone who's a big fan of me is probably insane.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
At the moment, I think that's probably the case.
Yeah.
But Nikki, it's great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
We've wanted to have you on for a very long time.
How long?
I would say at least like a few days.
That's really nice.
No, we've been trying to schedule for a while.
Yes, we have. Yeah. Have you had any other females on this yet?
I've only had one other guest.
Wow.
It's mostly just been solo. So my other guest was Ryan Goldshire, the little impressionist guy with blonde hair. Do you know him?
No, I don't.
He's a funny guy. He's a good comic. And he's not a woman, technically, but he's a little effeminate. So I was
like, is he taking my jobs?
Possibly.
Oh,
yeah.
Fuck.
He hasn't transitioned yet, but I think he might.
Stay in your own lane, bro.
Yeah, no, he's a good guy. He is a man. I think he's going to stay a man. So you're the first female guest.
My gosh, thank you so much.
It's nice to have some feminine energy in here.
Thank you so much.
Usually it's just me and Chris, so it's just kind of like a smelly, kind of gross masculine vibe.
Thank you for lighting a candle.
Yeah, we should have lit a candle. I mean, this is not a clean place. Christina's parents are in town right now, and they just came in and looked at the studio.
They came
in here, yeah. And her dad was like, he looked around and he's like, yeah, these days they're running a lot of businesses out of shitholes, huh?
I mean, the carpet you could. It's
disgusting.
Yeah,
we're leaving.
You don't need a carpet.
I'm throwing this out.
Okay, yeah.
It's for sound.
Wait, is this is your office?
Yes, this is the office.
Oh, okay.
We leave in a month.
You. Okay.
And it's gotten disgusting. I mean, I'm not going to say who it is, but there's one guy who keeps shooting sketches in here with people who smoke cigarettes in here.
That's disgusting.
It's disgusting.
It's not the 80s, but it does kind of look like a jail cell.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, it's not the most welcoming environment.
How much do you pay for this?
Me personally?
Yes.
$150 a month.
Oh, okay.
And we split it 8 ways.
Oh my God. This is some big time stuff. We're doing some. If I am not seen after this podcast, please come looking for me. Because there's a room in there that looks sketch. Okay.
Oh, in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a few people trapped in there.
All right. The smell isn't you guys, it's the bodies.
Yeah. No, you've seen Jeffrey Dahmer. You've seen...
Yeah, I can't watch it.
The show?
It's too much.
You have a sense of it? Okay, so we are going to answer like a handful of questions during this. This is my first one.
Okay.
Is it concerning to you that people love serial killer documentaries so much? And what do you think the repercussions are going to be?
That's a good question. I think it's not concerning to me because I think that everybody likes watching things that they can't be or that they aren't. So like it's the same thing as people watching superhero movies,
professional sports
models.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But I do think that it is. I think it's concerning that people could turn into serial killers because like when I used to go and watch action movies, I would always walk out of the action movie being like, I'm gonna fucking fight, and like I would like walk down the
when
street.
When you were a kid,
yeah, when I was a kid,
not like yesterday.
Listen, sometimes I still feel that way.
As a 30-year-old, you felt like that.
Yeah. Okay. Like I'll watch something and I'll be like, like like when I saw Top Gun, the new one, I came out and
you wanted to fly a fighter jet.
Yeah, I was like driving home with my boyfriend and I was like, we're coming along a big boulder.
LA is a place where people never mature. And I think that's a pretty good example of that. Hey,
I'm also an only child, so it's like,
me too.
Yeah.
I don't go to Top Gun and go, I want to kill the enemy.
I didn't want to kill, but I felt like empowered, like I'm strong like them, and here we go.
Yes.
So I do think that serial killers, I don't think it's good to watch that and get ideas of how to kill people.
I think they're providing a blueprint.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, there have been serial killer movies like back in the day, so many. So what's the difference now? But I do agree that, they could be providing a blueprint. Or if we really go back into movies, like back in the day when I was a kid, the movies about having step parents and hating the step parents was a blueprint for me to hate my step parent for no reason.
I think it's exactly the same.
Yeah. And then me and Monterey were just talking about how like Cruel Intentions and Fear, like all these movies that had girls that were like kind of innocent date players made us want to date toxic.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like guys, manipulative guys. Or
weren't they sort of plotting and scheming?
They were, but the girls like were the ones that changed them. So they would be these bad guys. So then that was the goal for us. So yeah, you've
learned how
got
to manipulate
point.
men.
Yes.
Through those movies.
Yeah.
And I do think a lot of young gay men are learning how to kill and eat
Other men?
from Dahmer.
No, I think you're right about that.
Not only gays, but I mean, they're included.
Oh, you said only gays. Yeah, you can't take that back.
it's kind of like softcore gay porn.
Yeah, what do you?
It's so sexualized.
Yeah, but
They get off on I got to stop with this. They get off on it.
No,
you know who they are?
They're not non-binary. They're just gay men, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know.
I think there's something
I don't think they're
sexy about it.
I do not think there's anything
Not to
sexy
me.
about it. That's like watching
everyone
Game of
else.
Thrones and then being turned on by the brother and sister.
I think that's happening.
I don't think people are going to want to fuck their brother and sister. I think they like a good sex scene, but they're not going to want to fuck their brother and sister.
But they might like role playing.
Brother and sister?
Yes.
I don't think so, because honestly...
Have you watched porn in the last 15 years?
No.
I haven't really either, but from what I hear...
I just winked.
There's a lot of incest.
Yeah. And well, we don't know. We don't have siblings. We don't know.
Would I have sex with my sister if I had a sister?
Yeah. Would you want to?
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, well.
It depends.
You gotta check 23andMe and see if you have one out there. But Game of Thrones, like when they have sex, the brother and sister, it honestly, that's like softcore for me. But I wouldn't want anybody to fuck their siblings. It's two actors doing it. So like, I think that people aren't that stupid that they can also like watch these and be like, it's still a fictional situation based on a true story.
Yeah. No, I get that. I do think that there are going to be some naive people out there who maybe don't entirely, or some weird people who are like, I want to be famous.
Right.
And I have no skill other than I want to kill and eat.
Or is it also helping other people who are the victims to realize, oh, this could be a sketchy situation. Look what turned out for those guys. Because like you're watching and now there's things that have been happening in my life, not like that, but similar situations from like,
where are you going with this?
No, just like my friend's parent is dating someone, and it very much is similar to Dirty John. And if I hadn't watched Dirty John,
what's Dirty? I don't know what Dirty John.
Oh man, Dirty John. It's a podcast, but it's also a TV show about this man who started dating this woman and was like a full-on criminal, took all of her money, but was like dangerous. And you see him trick her and manipulate her. That now knowing and seeing that, and there's been another couple TV shows, like one with Renee Zellweger, but there's been a few like Pam. The thing about Pam and all these, and they're based on true stories. Then now, like my friend's parent who's dating this woman, I'm like, that's too similar to these TV shows. So now all of us have red flags. So I do think it teaches us as well and can prevent the victims.
Yet another thing someone deeply ensconced in Hollywood would say. I'm learning so much from these TV shows.
I'm an only child.
Yeah. I get most of my life lessons from Netflix.
You know what? I think I do. Yeah. I think my mom made me watch so many adult rom-coms when I was a kid that I'm like, that's why I'm so good at navigating relationships.
You probably met your, or you like sought out meet cutes.
I was really prepared for life.
Oh, whoops. I just dropped all of my architect stuff. Could you help me pick it up?
Oh, that guy in the cafe is cute. This could turn out real nice.
You just walk around with blank index cards, dropping them. That makes sense.
Yeah, so that's my 2 cents.
Okay. I think you're probably right. I want to believe that we're creating just an army of serial killers, but it's probably not true.
No, I think you're on to something. But I think that as much as the army's being made, the victims are getting their ammo and getting their protection by learning. Oh, that seems like that.
We're inspiring young serial killers.
Yes.
But also empowering
victims.
The victim.
Yes.
So that's it. So it's like everybody's juicing. In the serial killer game.
Yeah. And
also iPhones are probably going to cut down on serial killing too, I would say.
That's true. But here's the thing about I watched the first episode of Dahmer, and when I was watching it in my head, I was like, just pretend you're into it. Just pretend you're into it. And then he ended up doing that. And that's how he got out of the situation. And I was like, oh my God, I was already ahead of the game. I was ready for that situation. Right. So now other people will pretend you're into it, and then you escape.
That's like the judo of gay serial killing. Use their energy to go limp.
Yes.
Play dead.
Exactly. Just like a bear.
And use them and then move them out of the way. Yeah. That's nice. That's like, that's almost like Eastern philosophy. I like that.
Yeah. See, I'm not so Hollywood.
Yeah. Well, you learned it from Dahmer.
No. I predicted it. I said what he needs to do is this, and then he did it. And I was like, oh my God, if I was him, I would escape too.
I mean, that's the most Hollywood way to express the Eastern stuff. But yeah, you're right. Okay, so we're done with that. That's good. You actually gave me a lot of good information. A lot of stuff I hadn't thought about.
Well,
I did not expect that.
Okay. You think I'm stupid? Okay.
I'm actually still on the fence about how smart you are, but based on this next question, we'll figure it out.
Oh my God, I can't wait. Okay.
So you've done stand-up for a while now.
Yes.
Do you think that there's anything, like a lot of people ask, I don't know what the exact question was, but people ask questions like, do you do stand-up because of your trauma? Because you hate your family? Yeah, like people assume there's something seriously wrong with you, or there's like one event that caused you to become a stand-up comic. Do you identify with?
Do you want me to just read that?
Yeah, read that question. I'm curious about what they said.
So Brittany from shout out to the
Tiger Belly Discord. Brittany from somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know.
Shout out to Brittany from somewhere.
Yeah.
And this is the question she asked.
She wants to know. She was asking Nikki, but I guess both of you can answer. Is there like a specific trauma that happened in your life that kind of pushed you into comedy?
Okay, so that's a way different question than what you just asked.
All right. I mean, I was just
Is this how you are in your relationship? You're like, you know what I think you asked me?
It's actually worse. I go, I have no idea what you just asked me.
There is not a specific trauma that happened to me to push me into comedy, except waitressing. That's a trauma.
Really?
But I think that the thing that made me funny, this isn't trauma, but it was a huge part of my life, was I was very, very, very ugly. And I wasn't touched.
I've seen photos.
Yeah, I was really ugly.
The photos might be like a little extreme. I don't think you looked great, but you're making the most like hideous faces.
But like I couldn't take photos. Like
there's photos. So it's like, okay, the baseline is not great. And then you're like,
no, but like there's one
smiling
where
like a crazy person.
But that's I'd be like, ha ha ha, and laughing.
Yeah.
And I just, that's what you think, but that was my smile.
It's almost like someone was like, hey, look as ugly as possible.
No, I didn't. And I was like, I'm just laughing. And so I wasn't touched because I was so ugly. And no one wanted a piece. And so it's not trauma like that, but my personality had to shine. And so I was so ugly when I was a kid, but I was still cool. Like I still had guy friends and I still had friends and I was still popular, but not ever popular in a way that like people would want me to be their girlfriend. And I'm still talking like 5th grade, 6th grade, because people started having crushes on my friends, and the guys would always go through me to get to my friends. So I was always friend zoned for a long time.
Got it.
And then, but I also was like very silly in myself and like funny, and they liked me for that. And I'd remember there was like one day in gym class where the guys had to choose a girl partner, and the guy chose me even though he was dating my friend. And I remember that feeling of being like, oh, you chose me because I'm more likable and fun and down to earth, and it felt nice to just be seen in that way. Mm-hmm. And I think that has shaped, that being ugly has shaped me to be a comedian, because first of all, I really want to reach like the young teens who are insecure and who are
the young ugly teens.
Ugly, yeah. I was going to get there, but I feel like I am not embarrassed to like say things that used to embarrass me, and my personality came out because I was ugly, which was my trauma. And then now I want to like help other people that are insecure. They don't have to be ugly. You can have your own insecurities to be like, it's okay to just talk about farts, or like it's okay to like be honest, and it'll get you further than trying to hide, if that answers the question. So like not trauma, but a heavy it was a struggle. It was like heavy insecurity that definitely pushed me to be a comedian.
Well, and it sounds like growing up hideous, you have to develop a personality.
You really do.
You have to do something.
You got to do something.
Because if
otherwise you're a loser.
Really attractive people bring nothing to the table.
No.
Personality wise.
No.
Very good athletes, very attractive people. They're like they're like very tough to talk to.
It's true. But then when you find like a hot person that's really good to talk to, you're like, oh God.
How did that happen?
Yes.
And they probably were ugly at some point.
I mean, I have a friend who has a great personality, and she was so hot her whole life, but she just was oblivious to it. And that's a unicorn. Anyways.
Yeah. I don't know how that, maybe she was beaten or something.
I just don't, I think like her morals, she just didn't care about that kind of stuff. But it also can be your parents. So yeah, it's true. Those people like are normally boring. Yeah.
On average?
Yeah. Like when there's a hot person that gets into comedy and they're like, I was on my phone and I'm like, get off the stage.
Yeah. No, I did a show last night. This girl went on stage and was like, so I'm a model, and I just left.
Yeah. Get off the
And she was telling like stories about modeling. I can't think of, there's no genre of story that's less interesting.
Yeah.
Than
modeling.
This is a tough modeling story.
Yeah. The success, that's a whole thing. Yeah. So but then now as I write and what I talk about, it is more traumatic things like my dad leaving and like that kind of stuff. So I harp on that, but I also didn't realize like that was a problem at the time. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like, you're saying there was no trauma. There was trauma.
There's some trauma.
Yeah. And it's not like trauma is subjective. I hate the word trauma because it gets thrown. It's like the wokest word possible.
Yeah.
But there's some things that weren't so great that happened.
Yes.
That probably affected your point of view.
100%.
And made you subconsciously want to go into something like stand up. Your dad leaves. Maybe you want some more attention.
Oh yeah. Give me all that attention. 100%.
And you're growing up, maybe not looking as good as some people.
Yeah.
And you want to get attention a different way.
And the way I got attention was making people laugh. I was always like, so then.
Well, then that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
If you're used to making people laugh, if you're some people they get the superlative class clown or whatever, you make your friends laugh.
I was the silly Billy. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that a Canadian superlative? Silly Billy?
That's my own. Yeah. I really, that's my.
But that wasn't in your yearbook.
No.
Most silly Billy.
You know what? I might add it. Yeah. Biggest class silly Billy. Yeah. Qualified silly Billy. Yeah.
Yeah, some things I should have said at the beginning that Nikki's Canadian. So if you if you don't understand some of what she's saying, it's because she's Canadian. There's some things that are lost in translation.
It's true.
She told me when I was on your podcast, you told me I was tanned.
Yeah, tanned.
Like past tense.
Yeah.
Which I've never heard in my life, but that's obviously a Canadian thing.
Tanned. You're tanned.
It doesn't matter. That's just
right.
That's what we on the Ben the Menace podcast. That's what we call Canadian nonsense.
Oh, is that what you call it?
The only region that I'm prejudiced towards is Canada.
Oh, okay, okay.
I don't know anything about Canada.
Yeah. Oh, wow. What a shocker.
Tell me something about Canada. What part of Canada are you from?
Toronto.
Major city. The biggest. Yeah. It's the biggest Canadian city.
It is.
It's up there.
Yes. It's definitely numero uno. But if you talk to someone from Montreal, they'd be like, no, Montreal is. Or if you talk to someone from BC or Vancouver, they'd be like, well, Vancouver's
Those are like
big.
the three biggest.
Yeah.
As a Canadian, what shows better, Trailer Park Boys or Letterkenny?
Great question.
For boys, men, Trailer Park Boys. Yeah. And for sitting down and watching something as a couple, I would say Letterkenny. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right?
I don't even know what Letterkenny is, but
yeah, that's the whole thing. Letterkenny is very niche. Like I think more women watch Letterkenny, but
it definitely seems really inside baseball because I have no idea what they're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I've seen some. I've seen
very
that.
Canadian.
Those farmer guys or whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
Who are
very
super Canadian.
Yeah.
No, that was pretty funny. I actually like that.
Yeah.
Actually, growing up in Canada, did you have a choice to get into the entertainment industry, or you just had to? Do they teach? Is that what like? Is there like an entertainment trade school? I feel like you have no exports except for actors and comedans.
Interesting. We have musicians.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, isn't Drake from Toronto?
Another form
Justin
of entertainment.
Bieber. Yeah.
Is every high school a performing arts school in Canada? You guys do nothing but...
It's the only thing that the States wants from us, and probably tech. I'm trying to think doctors, but doctors wouldn't come out here. They would stay in Canada. I'm pretty sure.
So the Canadians who cross the border
are for entertainment. Yeah, because everybody else is going to want to just stay. There's no reason to live in the States unless you want to be in entertainment, because we don't get healthcare out here, and then it's more expensive, or sports.
Sure.
Right. So yeah, entertainment.
There's some of that, but there's way more like. I feel like you guys put out so many improv actors. Yeah,
a lot of comedians, I guess.
Tons of stand-up comics, tons of improvisers.
But do you think that's maybe just because you're in comedy, so that's what you're aware of? We put out a lot of...
No, you guys...
A lot of hockey scouts, my stepdad's a hockey scout, are out here.
Yes, but that hockey's like the most Canadian thing ever.
Well, there's also some baseball people out here.
Not nearly as many as
no.
We could start listing actors. It's insane how many people are from Canada.
That's really cool though. But it's because we just come out here. I think like if you worked in stocks, you're not going to come out. Actually, when I lived in New York, I did know like friends who were in finance. One guy works for Facebook, like that came and went to live in New York. So that's different because you just want to be in New York, you know? Yeah. But I think when I think of all those people or fashion, but I didn't have any like that many actor friends in New York from Toronto, but I had so many people like in finance and stuff, which is weird. But otherwise, it's more, you wouldn't know them, you know?
Yeah, I'm talking about famous people here.
Okay, I know, but I'm saying like, okay, whatever. But there's going to be no famous finance person from Canada. You're going to...
Well, there are fewer, there are tech people that everybody knows. And as far as I know, zero of them are Canadian.
All right.
And I can list 20 comedians.
Yeah. Yeah, well...
It's a big export for you guys.
It is a big export. A lot of art. It's because we don't get that many opportunities there at all.
Right.
And they're so picky, and they don't want to take any risks with like TV shows. They're like, ooh, that's a bit too offensive.
Edgy.
Edgy's
not good
Everything
in Canada.
is so fucking edgy to them.
Yes, I've actually heard that. Have you performed stand-up in Canada?
Yes.
And they're a little uptight, right?
I've actually had a great time there.
Okay.
I will say they're not uptight for me.
Okay.
But maybe it's because, and like, my stuff's dark and it can be edgy, but I don't think it's been hard for me, maybe because I am Canadian, so like my presence on stage to them might be more familiar than if an American goes in and like is more jaded. I'm a bit more
a jaded
like
American talking shit about Canada. I would probably be horrible.
Yeah, they definitely like when I think about it, I'm like they still like a little bit of silliness. Like we have an essence. People say that we have a certain type of essence.
Would you call it a silly Billy essence?
I'm not going to tell you that every Canadian's silly Billy because they aren't. But people say like kind of we have like a whimsical essence to us.
Okay.
I don't know.
Is that like the British thing?
Oh, you don't know that
whimsy?
word? I guess so. Or like I don't know. We're like fairies. I don't know.
Like
I'm just trying to think of what people call me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Enough about me. What's the next question?
Okay.
Well, do you want to answer the trauma question?
Oh, do you want to answer the trauma question?
Personally?
Yeah. Because that works for both of you. Some of the other questions are like really Nikki specific.
Yeah. I don't know.
Nice.
If anything, and I'm if I thought about this more, maybe I'd come up with a better answer. But if anything, I feel like I had just the absence of I was like a ghost until I was like 22. I feel like.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like I wasn't even here on this planet.
Interesting.
So
okay.
if anything, I'd say the thing that made me want to do this is like. I kind of want to feel like I'm on the planet.
Oh, wow.
And people see me doing something.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I just felt like I was
invisible.
Like I was
Cute.
an extra in whatever like my high school.
Okay.
They'd be like, "Oh, there's like no one would even notice." I'd be like, "Oh, there's a guy in the background at getting a snack. It's snack time."
So you're just doing it to be seen and get attention.
Probably because I feel like nobody noticed me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And then I went to college and started doing like proposals for research. And I was like, this is fun. I'm killing.
Oh.
I was like murdering.
Okay.
And these people, murdering at a psychology proposal is probably the easiest thing in the world.
They would just laugh at you?
No, because they're at me. They're like, this guy is dumb.
This guy's really stupid.
No, but like the bar for comedy is very low. Yeah. In any remotely scientific community. So I was like, I'm hilarious. I'm going to do stand up. And then you realize like I suck.
Yeah. Interesting.
So that's pretty much it. So it's more like, if anything, it's
wanting attention.
The trauma of in hindsight never being noticed.
Yeah.
I'm about to cry right now.
I hope so. Everyone stops listening. So we don't want to notice you anymore.
No. Yeah, as 3 people watch this, I just want to be noticed. That's probably what it is.
Okay.
Nothing on the nose.
Okay.
I do have a question that's related to that though. So my best friend went and saw Adam Sandler the other night in San Francisco.
I've never heard you go, my best friend.
He is like from when I was in kindergarten.
Okay.
One person saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But honestly, he still misses a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, clearly he's still your best friend from kindergarten.
Yeah.
So.
Since we were 5. I mean, the interesting thing is when you have a friendship that starts that young. Yeah. By the time you're in your 30s, you have nothing in common.
That's not true.
That's true for me.
I've been friends with my friend since I was 7 and we have so much in common.
Do you?
Yeah, and she lives here and we have so much in common.
Is she an actress?
No. She works in retail.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're just buddies.
Best friends. Same person.
Okay. And now, best friend. He's using the word best friend. Look at you.
Well, I thought that was a safe word after you said it, you softy.
We're both using it.
Yeah. Okay.
He bothers me at this point, my best friend.
Everybody bothers you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. The thing I love about stand-up is I get to feel like I'm interacting with people, and it's not a two-way conversation at all.
Yeah.
It's the experience of socializing. It's like metaverse communication.
Yeah.
And I get off stage thinking like, wow, I feel great. I feel like I just socialized, and back to being bothered by everybody.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
Yeah, well,
to have complete control.
It's true. I like when people respond though. I like when they talk back.
Like stand up or
interaction.
Doing crowd work during stand up is not a regular dialogue.
Yeah.
You have a microphone, you're in charge. they're drunk. You're thinking a lot faster than them.
Yeah, it's true. And you can pick out what you want them to say.
If human interaction was crowd work, I would love hanging out with people. Look at these idiots.
All right, enough of you. You're taking up too much of my time.
Yeah.
So anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You live in Venice with all those homeless people, you morons.
Yeah.
So my friend saw Adam Sandler in San Francisco, some big arena or something. And he sent me a text going like, this is why Adam was so good. I'm trying to explain to you why he was so good. Does it bother you when civilians, for lack of a better word, have like
Plebeians.
really developed opinions on stand-up? It infuriates me because it's always wrong. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Or like an opinion about your stand-up. What if they're like, here's what I think would help you as a comic. Have you gotten that before?
Yes, I have gotten that before from middle-aged men. Yes.
Oh, but not from like close friends.
Not from close friends.
I have.
Interesting.
From my best friend and his two brothers who I grew up with, and it really infuriated
Bothers
me.
you.
I got off stage at Cobb's in San Francisco. They came out to see me.
And what'd they say?
And they're like, here's what we think you should do.
What did they think you should do?
They were like, maybe you should slow down a little. I'm like, who the fuck do you guys think you are?
I have had friends at the beginning to tell me to slow down, and I took that note. But I don't think you need to slow down.
I'm not taking notes from.
But they're audience members still, though. They're watching it.
They're audience members, but if they're my friend, or someone I grew up with,
give you a pat on the back.
Well, no. Just first of all, don't say anything because you have no fucking idea what you're talking about. And secondly, you're as biased as a human being could possibly be because you already knew me before I went up.
Totally. Yeah. And my best friend watches me all the time. She'll come, but she's never done that. She's way more supportive. And like, I feel like the one that I know if I've done well or not.
Right.
But I did at the beginning have people tell me that I need to slow down. And when I first started, and they were right, I did. Of course, and they were like, I couldn't understand what you were saying. My dad loves to tell me. Well,
within your first 5 years, you're probably going to have to do something tempo wise, of course.
For sure. But I did once have, oh my God. Well, I did once have people when I first started tell me like that what I was wearing on stage was too provocative and it was distracting.
Did I say that?
Guys said that.
I feel like I would say something like that.
Oh, no, you didn't say that. No. I think I said to guys. I mean, I wore leather pants, tight leather pants, and a tank top.
Yeah,
they were like, cover your arms. I think I could wear leather pants and a sweater.
I'd say a good rule of thumb for female comics is zero belly button.
Zero belly button.
I do not want to see a belly button.
Yeah. Sometimes though, when you go like this, it comes out.
That's fine.
Yeah.
If you're doing a crazy act out and we see,
but I don't want to see.
If it's belly button from start to finish, that's way too much.
I don't want that. Well, and so then
unless that's your whole thing, unless you're the belly button comic.
Unless
you're doing a character with your belly button.
Hello. You're like making it talk.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. I did have a guy, I did World Series of Comedy.
Yeah, sure,
and they told me.
For the fans, World Series of Comedy, do you want to explain what it is?
You can.
As far as I'm concerned, and this is not really going to tell you much, but it is a competition to see who the biggest hack in America is.
Yeah.
It's like a competition for feature acts. So for people in local comedy scenes who go up before the headliner and to see who the best feature is, which is to see who the lamest middle-aged man in America is.
It really is.
That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
People telling jokes you've heard for 30 years.
Yeah.
Just mixing and matching words.
And they're in charge.
And some of them kill.
Yeah. Well, some of them
It's disturbing to watch them kill.
But then like the judging doesn't make sense and you won't get a good rating and then they just will have great things to say about you and you're like, I don't understand. So I wore overalls on stage and I got off and one of the judges said to me like, hey, I docked you points because your outfit is too casual and you wore overalls on stage. Now Beth Stelling does a whole fucking special in overalls. And at the time I was like, you cannot tell. A man just walked on stage in shorts and a sweatshirt and you're telling me I can't wear fucking overalls?
Well, the World Series of Comedy people are easily 20 years behind.
Yes.
If not more.
Yes.
They're like in 1980s.
Yeah. And then he fingered me, you know, it's just like.
Disclaimer, they didn't do that.
They didn't do that.
But it's the attitude of a fingerer.
Yeah. He wasn't not thinking it.
No, I remember I hung out. One time when I won my round, that's the only time I'd ever hang out with those people is after winning. If I don't win, I'm going home. But I hung out once, and a female comic was with us, like having food. I forget. And they were like, "Yeah, you shouldn't be wearing like too much cleavage."
Wow.
They might have even said the belly button thing that I just said.
Too much cleavage.
And they're like, yeah, people are just going to be thinking about sex while you're on stage. And I'm pretty sure that I was like, I agree.
Oh my God. I mean, you just can't be the one to tell somebody that unless you're their friend.
I don't totally disagree with it, but it's not okay to do that in front of other people or any of that.
If I wore something and you were like, hey, like you're pushing it a bit, I wouldn't be offended. I'd be like, thank you for telling me that. But you're going back to your friends telling you.
Well, like say I was like some super jacked dude and I wore a sleeveless shirt on stage. That would, first of all, that would look idiotic. That would look so dumb. And it would be distracting.
Yeah, it would be distracting. Yeah. For sure. But yeah, I don't know. Civilians telling me, I mean, I will say like with TikTok right now, I just posted a clip and it is blowing up because half people hate it, half the people don't. They're arguing over it. And I just like read this one where he was
What's the clip? What did you say in the
clip? I'm saying to the 20-year-old, I'm like, I don't even know how to talk to people your age anymore. I'm like, what?
It's a crowd work clip.
It's a crowd work clip. And I'm like, what do you want for Christmas? Right? So like, I'm saying that to them. You fucking morons. The joke is that I'm so old that you seem so young to me now that I'm out of touch and I'm asking you a stupid question about what you want for Christmas because you're so young to me and I'm so stupid and out of touch, right? But so now, you're
supposed to be the butt of the joke.
I'm the butt of the joke. And fucking children are like, a lot of women are being like, love this, get it. Or like some people are like, you know, like they get it. And then like people are being like people are like, oh, you fucking boomer, like, which is such a fucking insult. That's my mom's age. And
they call you a boomer.
Oh yeah, they love calling me 40 and a boomer. And but then they're also being like, oh, these like crowd work or whatever, this isn't funny or whatever they say. Like they're telling me how to, one I just read before I got here and I don't like reading the comments.
Why are you reading these comments?
I don't know why I did that. And I will stop. But the one guy was like commenting on the way that he said it was about me getting on stage and that's what I'm like, how I shouldn't be getting on stage to say that kind of stuff and whatever. And in my head, I was like, you get on stage. You're not a fucking comedian. Don't tell me what I should be saying on stage. And that is a civilian. But I just felt that for the first time where I was like, don't fucking tell me what I can and cannot stay on. You don't even go on stage. It was like him critiquing like what I should be doing instead. And I was like, you don't even do this. You don't even have a real TikTok account. So, but I do think that some people probably when you go off stage, like one time I had a kid say to me, I think if you just talk to the crowd more, this is before I did crowd work, he was like, talk to the crowd more. We want to be involved. And I was like, nobody asked you. I'm not gonna, what? No, this is my set. That's like going up to a singer and being like, you should try playing the drums sometimes. Like, you know?
Yeah, totally.
So it does bother me sometimes, but at the same time, I'm so weak that I will listen.
To the critiques.
Yeah.
Oh, I am so averse to like lay people giving me criticism. If like some super established comic had something to say, of course I would listen to that.
Yeah.
But if I don't know.
If my friend had something to say, I would listen too. If
I would not.
See, this is the difference. This is why I'm such an insecure loose.
I just, and maybe it's my own insecurity, but like I'm putting up blinders because
that's great.
There's so much bad information out there. I almost never look at comments. I actually did get I looked at one comment on Instagram. Mm-hmm. I have one clip that's getting a bunch of views. And I commented, like I got in a tiny bit of a dialogue with this guy. And by the end of it, it's like, this guy said something upsetting.
Yeah.
I forget even what he said. And I said, it was a clip about OnlyFans.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, you're doing a lot of research on OnlyFans. And he goes, yeah, we do the research at your mom's book club. And I was like, oh, you're retarded.
Oh my, did you say that?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh my God. And what did he say?
But it's the first comment was kind of upsetting, and then I said something back, and I'm like, oh, he's just like a dumbass.
Yeah.
Why was I ever offended in the first place?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I really try not to read them. But when I, for some reason, that one stuck
It's
out.
hard. I mean, it's pretty tough to go on TikTok or Instagram and avoid comments completely because they pop up in your feed. They pop up,
and you're supposed to get more views if you comment back.
Yeah.
So that's what
I can't do it.
I wish I had someone look at it for me.
I would just be fighting all day. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do Twitter. It's just too much arguing.
Yeah. It's too much energy.
As like a producer, the comments are like the bane of my existence. I have to tell every talent
not to.
You do.
Yes.
But it's also like something that people don't realize too. Is like it's even the positive comments that'll get to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because a positive comment will be like, "Oh, I love when you do this thing."
Yes.
And then it's in your head like, "Oh, I didn't do that thing this
time." Oh,
and now I'm
interesting.
not.
Okay.
No, I hate that. I had if a comic is in their first year, I don't want to hear anything they have to say.
Oh, absolutely.
I had a first year comic who actually I thought was funny. I was like giving him compliments. I was like, this was good. I think you're really funny. And he goes, you know what I like about you? When you're bombing, I'm not worried. And I was like, don't say that.
That's it.
Yeah. It was at a mic. It was just at like some shit mic. I'm trying to run new material.
God.
And it's like, of course it's not going to hit. There's 7 people who are asleep in here.
Yeah.
And it's like, I wouldn't call that bombing.
No, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, that sort of part of me was like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. But a bigger part of me was like, I hate this guy now.
Yeah.
I will never respect this guy. I don't want to talk to him.
No way.
Yeah.
So
you're not getting critiques from family friends necessarily.
No.
Or what about when someone says like, this is why I think Chris Rock is so good. Have you ever heard?
Oh, people always say that.
Here's what they figured out. My friend was like, Adam Sandler's figured out a creative framework that allows him to be himself. And I'm like, you know what you just said there? Nothing.
A creative framework that allows him to be himself.
You mean he's just doing stand-up comedy,
he's
you
doing
moron?
Stand-up.
Yeah.
That's not...
That doesn't mean anything.
No, it doesn't.
And he's trying to sound like he's really got a full grasp of what makes a good comic.
Funny.
Well, it's an arrogant, egotistical thing to say.
Creative framework, like okay.
Really, what that means is this guy should not be my best friend.
No, he shouldn't be your best friend. No. He shouldn't.
It's very arrogant for me to say that.
It's also just very like he wants to be a comedian. He's not.
Well, he wants me to think that his analytical ability is so impressive.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, my dad will watch stand-up specials and then he'll be like, you know what? Yes. And you know what Chris Rock does? Yes. And I'm like, he's like, I'm just really into studying this. I was like, cool, you keep it to yourself.
Well, it's like you're studying it as an amateur, which means you're just pissing in the wind. You're accomplishing nothing.
You don't know what it's like to do it, so you don't know why I don't do it the way that person does it.
And if you can't empathize a little bit, there's no way you're going to have a full understanding of why someo's good at it. Like,
for sure.
I can't tell you why someone's good at golf.
Yeah.
And I've even played golf before, but I have no idea why someone's good.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a good point.
Thank you. That was important for me.
So,
for you to say that. That meant a lot to me.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
So how should someone approach you guys if they had like
don't.
wanted to give you don't?
I've said this to you before.
Yeah.
Hey, great set. Bye.
If they want to give us what
If
though?
they want to give you like they want to give you
critiques,
honest feedback or critique, like
either laugh or don't laugh during the show.
Yeah.
That's the best critique.
It depends.
What do you think?
It depends who you are to me and what your critique is. If I say like too much, please tell me.
Right.
If there's a word I'm saying a lot, yes. If there's something
that actually is helpful.
If there are bad habits that I'm doing on stage,
Yeah.
please tell me.
Right.
If it's something about the joke, like sometimes my parents will say, I don't get that joke, and the whole crowd has laughed. And I'm like, we can't, So
you just don't get it. That's fine.
Yeah. I would say like if you're like, well, it did it, or if the best way would be that joke is a good joke, but it didn't land because we couldn't hear you. Like sometimes that's been said to me. So that's like a fine way to approach it. And then I was like, okay, I need to slow down and pronunciate. But that's when you approach
something more objective than subjective.
Yes.
I couldn't hear this.
Yes.
The mic was fucked up. Anything like that.
Yeah. But otherwise, why do you want to approach us with your...
My opinion, people, for some reason, I don't know why, because I'm not a successful comedian. I don't make any money doing this. I've really not even.
You don't make any money?
I make some.
Yeah.
I've made a lot more money on horse races, which is insane.
Okay.
I haven't really. I'm not like someone who you're punching up at when you criticize what I'm doing as a comic.
Yeah.
Why do you want to make me feel worse?
Yeah. Yeah, it is very much making us feel worse. And that what you say to us is going to stick with us for a very long time.
Unless if I was super successful and I was selling out a lot of tickets, I don't give a shit what you have to say.
Yeah.
But there's a part of my subconscious that I'm trying to avoid all the time that's going, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And then someone goes, hey, here's what I noticed. I go, now you're just playing into that thing.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
So does that answer? Yeah.
So, and then basically, like, just, I mean, like if Bill Burr came and was like, yeah, I have some advice for you.
Of course I would listen.
Yeah. Make an account on Instagram, make a Bill Burr's name, DM us, and then we'll be good.
Yeah. Like a legit, even someone who no one's heard of, who's been around for a long time, I would listen.
Yeah.
Like, remember, I told that story about I was hosting at the Comedy Chateau, which I'll never do again.
Stupid move.
Yeah, horrible. Yeah. I introduced 17 comics.
I can't. What?
So stupid.
And you didn't get paid for that?
I got free food.
Oh my god.
It was a joke.
It good?
Food's delicious.
Okay, cool.
The food's actually very good.
But still not for 17 comics.
No. I was hosting for like 3 hours. It was a joke.
Yeah.
A comic who used to write for The Tonight Show, like the original Jay Leno Tonight Show. Very old man.
Okay.
He was like, I was listening to one of your jokes, and he gave me a tag that was probably I'm listening to this guy because I'm like, this guy's a professional comedy writer. Maybe he has something to say. He gave me possibly the worst joke in human history.
What was it?
So I was doing a joke about my shoes, how they're Amazon brand, they're bad shoes. That's really the idea. And they're called feet hit shoes.
Okay.
And he goes, here, I got something for you. How about defeat hit?
What?
As in like you're defeated and it's feet hit. And I was like, it took everything in my body not to just walk away from him.
Oh my
or like throw a drink in his face.
Oh my
It was so offensive.
That's so funny.
It's almost like a woman like being hit on.
Yeah.
And then they slap.
Yeah.
When he said defeat hit, I almost wanted to slap him in the face.
No way. That's out of control.
He's probably 65 years old.
That's not okay. Yeah, no.
And that's my like he's a senior comic.
Oh my
On paper,
God.
he's a superior comedian.
That's crazy.
And he actually killed, which I couldn't believe either.
Oy,
He did nothing but like old man crowd work.
They love that shit. They fall for that shit all the time. Yeah.
But defeat hit is, I mean,
it's
maybe
bad.
the worst joke in human history. Doesn't even make any sense.
I
He's
went,
hey,
what?
do something with that. What could I possibly do?
I'll tell the joke about you telling me to do
maybe
that.
Maybe I'll tell this story once on a podcast.
Yeah.
And that won't even be the best part of the fucking podcast.
It's true.
Yeah.
That is a true thing.
What else do we have? We have more questions, right?
Yeah. Oh, do you want to try that lawyer?
Yes.
Game?
We're going to play a game.
Okay.
Where are we at? Are we doing okay?
Yeah, we're like at 47
Okay.
minutes.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so someone wrote in, and basically what you guys are going to do is kind of like pick a side.
Okay.
And then like, if her friend's in the right, give the friend advice.
Okay.
Okay, so this is another person from the Tiger Belly Discord named Jordan. And basically she has this friend who keeps doing a lot of like off-color racial jokes that kind of make her uncomfortable.
Okay.
And she's kind of like told him to cool it down a little bit, and then eventually just like, you gotta stop with the racist jokes. And then he's getting like kind of upset, saying it's just jokes, like what's the big deal? So she wants to know, like, is she in the wrong? Should you just let him keep doing jokes, or is she like, is she overreacting basically?
I want to know what race he is.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
All I know is that she's Jewish. I don't know.
And they're Jewish.
She
jokes?
is Jewish.
Yeah.
That's so he's probably doing anti-Semitic jokes.
I think she would have.
Yeah.
She was just saying that she
Racial.
And it was like making her uncomfortable.
Based on the very little information that she gave,
Yeah.
I say the jokes are fine.
You're Jewish. You can say what you want.
No, I mean, it completely depends on what jokes he's making and what race he is. You're right about that.
I do think that's the key. Yeah.
But the odds are they're probably very bad jokes.
Yeah. And if it depends if he's like is he a comedian or is he just saying to her like, oh, you don't want to buy that because you're Jewish? Like, that's just annoying.
Yeah. I would be offended by that.
Have people done that to you?
Yeah, I went to...
Definitely not a comedian.
Yeah,
okay,
he's not a funny guy. And people have that. When I went to a Catholic high school,
yeah,
and as a Jew, I heard a lifetime's worth of Jew jokes.
And did it bother you?
I would like lend someone money, and they're like, "I'll give you. I know that you're Jewish, so I'll give you X. What did he say? I'll pay you extra because you're Jewish."
Oh my God. Yeah. See, so I think I have to put myself in her shoes for a minute because I don't
interrupt you for a second. I remember telling my dad that, thinking that it was good. I was like, he gave me an extra quarter. And my dad's like, do not let people do that.
Oh my God. That is so funny.
Yeah. So he was a little right.
I'm sorry?
So he was a little bit right. It made you happy.
My friend, the guy who did that? No, at the time I was like, sure, I'll take an extra quarter.
Yeah. And
my dad was like, this is why people don't like Jews. Stop doing this.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put myself in her shoes for a minute because I'm not religious. I'm not
you're not a race
that gets made fun of. No.
Yeah, you're
but I am a woman. And
yeah, you are a woman.
Yeah, I forgot for a minute I was a woman. And so if I think about when people, it depends what the kind of person is. Like, I'm not offended by things very easily. So if my guy friends make fun of me in Toronto, my Toronto guy friends, which is a different kind of personality than comics.
How can you describe that? What are they like?
They
Trailer Park Boys or the other one?
No. They're more like they're very like
Letterkenny.
Oh, I guess more Letterkenny.
Okay.
Yeah, more Letterkenny.
Yeah. As far as Canadians go, they're one or the other.
And they make the differences. They're not Degrassi.
Again,
no.
A lot of entertainment coming out of Canada.
They make fun of each other as much as they make fun of me.
Okay.
So for me, with them, it's equal because it's like, if you make fun of me for being a woman, whatever you say, you're then going to turn around and make fun of Jamie for being this. Like, it's all even.
Okay.
And so I was able to brush it off, and they'd be like, well, you can't do that because you're a woman, and laugh at it because it is a funny stereotype, but they don't mean any harm, and I'm used to it, and I will go after them for it was all like playground, you know?
Sure.
But out here, with men in comedy, for example, they make fun of women, but I think there's like truth behind it, and whether there is, I think they mean it, and it's not, and because I think a lot of people can joke, you can make fun of them, but a lot of it is just a one-way street, and then that bothers me. But you can make fun of me all day long in Toronto for being a woman. I don't care with my guy friends because it's equal and
it's a level playing field.
It's level playing. But when it's a one-way street, then it's annoying. So it depends on the situation where I'm like, do you guys have that kind of dynamic? It doesn't sound like it. So I think you're hanging out with a douchebag.
No, that would be great. At the end, she's like, oh yeah, I forgot to say, I call him the N-word all the time.
Yeah. If he's just, it just sounds like he's a bully and it's like low hanging fruit. And if you don't have, and especially if you told him to stop doing it, but my counter is like, I don't know what the jokes are. And sometimes if my guy friends made fun of women or whatever it is, I'd be like, you're being a bit sensitive. So I do have like the two sides. And what do you think?
When push comes to shove, it's like, is he funny ever?
Yeah. Is he funny ever?
Are any of these jokes ever funny?
Yeah.
Because if he's a very funny guy and he's doing some off-color jokes, I say just give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
But if you're not in laughing fits around this guy,
and if he's a loser,
I say throw him out of a window.
Yeah, because he's just going to keep making those kinds of jokes as you grow older together, and he's going to be making them to the waitress, and it's like, ew.
Yeah, they're probably not great jokes.
No.
If she's offended.
Yeah, I really
and she's a Tiger Belly listener, so she's Mexican. No, I don't know what she is.
Oh, wow.
She's Jewish.
Yes, there are Mexican Jews, but very few.
Well, is this your friend?
Yeah. Yeah. And Anti-Semitism is getting very popular for some reason, so I'm against that.
So
for sure.
Were we supposed to be two different lawyers on two different sides, though?
Yeah. Chris basically was like, here's a question, and you guys are lawyers.
Yeah, I'm like, what side are we? Do you think
you have to like make the verdict? Like, you're basically the judge, not the lawyer.
We have so little information.
Yeah, it's true. Do you think she should?
But if I was going to defend him as a lawyer,
yes.
If I was his celebrity defense attorney,
yeah.
I would say this is America, right?
Yeah.
We're in America.
Okay.
This country is rooted, especially Texas, freedom.
Oh.
We are allowed our freedoms in America. Guns. Sorry. Actually, in Texas, you have to have a kid. You have no choice. But guns and speech. Hey, it's America. You should be able to say whatever you want and shoot 2 pistols in the air at the same time because we're in America, right?
Yeah.
Do we want to take away complete freedom? Do we want this to be China?
No.
Do we want face scans everywhere we go, tracking everything you do?
No.
Okay, what are we in Singapore? Can we not chew gum and spit it out?
Actually, it's quite clean there.
Without being hung? I mean, it is very clean.
Yeah, it's very.
But do we want to be allowed to smoke weed and chew gum and say the N-word and shoot each other? I'd say yes. This is America.
I think my argument for his defense is, if you don't like who I am, don't be friends with me. Don't try and change me. You stupid. No, just joking.
That's a less bombastic and bad defense. That's a better defense.
That's better. Like, just that's what he's gonna say. And I kind of am like, if you told him, if you're friends with someone, you have to be like, this hurts me, and they keep doing it, stop it. Whether it's like, hey, don't hook up with my ex-boyfriend, it hurts me, or like, don't talk shit about my parents, or stop beating me, it hurts. Yeah. Whatever it is, if you tell them they keep doing it, stop being friends with them. That's my argument.
Yeah. And then in her defense, if I was going to be the prosecutor, I would say this country is being systematically dismantled by hate speech.
Literally are two different. Imagine you were running for president. We'd be like, oh, nobody believes it.
I'm running for president both as a Republican and a Democrat.
It's amazing. Yeah. It's like, Mallory,
I think you should be allowed to have a gun, and I think hate speech is the worst thing that's ever happened in America.
Yeah, it is. You guys are crazy here.
I'm actually anti-gun and kind of pro-hate speech. So,
oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, actually.
Ben Herwitz for president.
But you could defend either side, and I have no idea what this guy's saying, which does not help.
I know. I really need to know what he's saying.
If she had quoted, like, I'd love to respond, or if she ever sees this, give us some direct quotes. What is this guy saying? Because that would tell us everything.
Yeah, exactly. And what did you say to him?
What did you say back? What prompted what he said?
Yeah.
Were you wearing a yarmulke? Because that bothers people.
Does he always pay the bill? Like,
exactly. Exactly. Does he go to the bathroom when they drop the bill? There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And do we have a final question, right?
We have 2 more questions.
Okay, perfect. That's perfect.
Okay.
One just specifically for Nikki. Jack wants to know, do you have any funny Bobby Lee like green room stories?
Oh yeah. First of all, I have a question. How the fuck did you get Bobby Lee on your podcast?
I'm a likable person.
You're a likable person?
I'm a likable person. I got Bobby Lee on. I haven't been in the green room.
You are a likable person.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Jack. How the fuck did I get Bobby Lee on? Bobby Lee like just started talking to me and Monterey at like the store. Monterey, like he came into the improv once and Monterey asked him a question. We were all sitting at the table and he came over and talked to us. And then he liked us because he's like, no one like has ever really, not no one, but no one's like brought me over and like asked me genuine questions.
Yeah.
And so then he like creeped us and was like, hey, I'm going to get you guys to open for me. I looked at your stuff. You're funny.
That's cool.
So ever since then, me and Bobby Lee, like I'll see him, but he's a silly Billy.
Yeah,
like,
he is. He's a wild man.
But he matches, like I've never met
Chris works with him weekly.
Yeah. And I've never been around a headliner. I'm like pretty shy and I always try and stay out of the way. But Bobby Lee, I became my like, as soon as I remember one time in the parking lot, like years ago, someone went, "Hey, Nikki Bon," and then he went, "Nikki Bon," and I went, "Bobby Lee," and it was like I would never act like that, but I was being my full-on silly Billy self with him, and I was like, "This is so weird. I'm never this outgoing."
Right.
And so I've just always been like a shit disturber to him, and he is to me.
Yeah.
And then one day he was at the Improv, and he asked me about my dad because he'd been creeping my Instagram. So he asked me about my podcast, and then I was like, "What's up with your dad?" And then he was telling me the stories.
His dad died.
What?
His dad died.
Well, also he beat him and like all this shit.
Sure.
Yeah. And so, and then I was like, "Oh God, I wish you would do my podcast." I didn't even like mean about asking him. I was just like, "Oh my God, such a good." Yeah. And then he was like, "I'll do your podcast." And then that's what happened.
That's cool.
And then he came and did my podcast, and then it was so easy, and the dynamic was so fun. My behind the I don't have like a green room Bobby Lee because I haven't been on the road with him yet. You should tell me.
You haven't opened for him yet.
I haven't opened for him yet.
He said that you would.
He offered me a date, and it was the day I was going away for a wedding. It was my friend's wedding, and I was in the wedding party, and I went. That was the date, and then he got the dates wrong, and it was actually the following weekend.
With Bobby, that doesn't surprise me.
You have to go through his assistant now.
Oh, really?
He's an assistant?
Yeah, he just kind of, when him and Kalila broke, it used to be Kalila.
That's funny.
You would have to go through Kalila, and then Kalila would make sure you got your hotel and all the dates were correct.
But now he hired a Kalila.
Yeah, he hired
Oh, wow. Well, yeah, because I went through him to do my podcast.
Yeah. If you go through him, there's going to be mistakes.
That's so funny. Yeah, so I just didn't get the date, so I haven't been out with him yet in the green room. But I do, like, behind the scenes, my favorite, I kind of said this on my podcast, but it was just so good. When he came to my house to do the podcast, he pulls up, what's his Audi? I don't know cars as well. Do you know the car?
I want to say it's an R8, but I'm not.
It's like an R8.
Nice Audi.
Matte, black, like fucking Batman's car.
Yeah.
Okay. He pulls up. He's like, "Oh no. Well, I was like, I'll rent out a studio." He's like, "I'll just do it at your place because that's where I like to do it," it was actually fun. And why'd you laugh at that?
Not creepy at all.
Oh, to come to my place?
Yeah.
No.
That's not why you.
No, I laughed at. Did you offer?
I offered.
Oh, I thought he offered.
No, that'd be fucking an asshole. No, he was like, we'll go to, it's fine to do it at your place. Like, whatever. I'm a normal person. I was like,
That's
okay.
what he said?
Yeah, I'm normal. I'm normal.
I think he's not.
And then he arrives in his matte black, amazing Audi, pulls into the spot, gets out of his car, and he looks at my car, and I have a Lexus ISO 250, but it's like 2011, but it's still like
That's
a
nice.
Lexus. Yeah. And it's a Lexus. And he goes, "Is this your car?" And I went, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh." And I was like, "It's a fucking Lexus, Bobby. Like, what are you talking about?" And then I was like, "Oh, is it not good enough?" He's like, I'm not saying that." Okay, yeah, I was saying that. I was like, yeah. So that was like a funny behind the scenes.
That's funny because his Audi is like maybe a year and a half old. And before that, he had some like really shitty.
Didn't he have a Prius? Yeah.
What?
It was like falling apart.
Oh my God.
Shitting in the back.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I really like him though. But that's I guess my like green room Bobby Lee story.
Behind the scenes.
Oh, wait, no, I have another one.
Okay.
When he did my podcast, so I got somebody to produce it, Alex Kahn, and he's like built, and Bobby just kept looking and being like, "G.I. Joe over here, G.I. Joe."
He's talking shit.
Shit, like is like, "Oh, he's so muscular." And then at the end of it, my boyfriend came home. My boyfriend is like my size, but he's not. He's like taller than me, like skinny.
Yeah.
And he meets Matt, and Matt's a tour manager, and he's like very grounding. And I had like kind of mentioned that. I was like, "Well, yeah, my boyfriend like is I'm the crazy one, and he's grounding." And Bobby Lee like goes up to him. He's like, "Hey man, how you doing?" And whatever. And he was just kind of like, Matt was like, "I like your shoes." He's like, "Thank you." And then he just goes like this to Matt and looks up at him in his eyes. And Matt went, "Oh, okay, we're doing that." And then he just walked away. I was like, "What are you doing?" Like, it was like he was like, saw like he had been around this muscular guy, and then he was like, somebody like he was like, it was so funny. Yeah.
He's like fucking with everybody.
He's fucking with everybody, but I love it because I fuck around with everybody too. Like at the Comedy Store, there was these girls that were like, "Bobby," and then he's like, "This is my agent," and I was like, "Yeah, could you just back off?" And I like played into it, and I would play his agent for like a half an hour when people kept coming up to him. So I love fucking with people. And as soon as he started doing that, then I was like, oh, this is my person.
Right.
Like that's, yeah.
Bobby likes to give random people like memories. So they just like ingrained into
What a fucking psycho. Yeah.
All right, the last question is from David, and this maybe like both of you can answer this, but do you remember one of the first times you made like a stranger laugh? Like someone that you weren't like close with, like maybe it's either on stage or...
It would have been when I was waitressing.
Yeah.
What a weird question.
A stranger.
Stranger. Making strangers laugh.
I do remember when I make strangers laugh. It feels very good.
The other thing is it's like my early experiences making strangers laugh. In hindsight, it's like that wasn't funny.
Oh, really?
I'm always just like, the things that make like a barista laugh are never funny. It's never like a good joke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They gotta laugh too.
They're like, exactly. Making, like, I've made waitresses laugh. I remember when I was young, when I was like, you know, more full of testosterone and younger, I would like hit on people who like retail people and waitresses and make them laugh. And I'm like, they're trapped here.
Yeah, I know.
In hindsight, it's like, they're laughing because they want me to buy something, not because they think I'm funny.
No,
it's
that's
like making
true.
a stripper laugh. What's the point of that?
Well, but when I waitressed, I wouldn't laugh if someone say something funny. I'd be like, oh yeah, okay. And I would always.
You do know that there are people who fake laugh.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't remember the first stranger, but I do remember like a couple strangers recently that I've made laugh, and I like it. I like it. Like I went to Home Depot and I got a Christmas tree, and you had to tip. I wanted to tip the guy for wrapping it. Mm-hmm. And then I went to give him the money and he goes, no, I can't take it. See those people there? They're watching. And I was like, oh, is that your boss? He's like, yeah. And then I was like, okay, well, do you have Venmo? Like, can I give you some secret money? And he was like, you can put it in my apron. And I was like a fucking stripper? And then he was like, yeah. And then I was like, what? Can you give me a fucking dance? And then I like kept going off. Yeah. And he was laughing. And then I walked away being like, I wasn't on stage. I didn't need to do that to that man.
That's what I was going to ask you, actually. I get self-conscious now. Oh. Like if I feel like I'm revving up to try to kill, I'm like, why am I doing this with regular people?
Oh, see, I like when but I've always been this way. Like the only reason I do stand-up is because when I was waitressing, people would tell me I should do stand-up because I'd be so cutting to them. So I actually like it because then I'm like, okay, I'm still like this in my everyday life. I don't just do it on stage, and I feel like I'm fully myself.
I'm the opposite.
Oh.
Yeah. I feel like I'm never myself when I'm not on stage.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty much an empty vessel.
Oh my God.
I'm like a robot, and then someone hands me a microphone. I'm like, oh, Ben's back.
No.
And sometimes it's bad too.
That's crazy. Oh my God.
The most demoralizing thing is not being funny all day, grabbing a microphone and still not being funny.
Oh my God. No. I'm always like I'm always like, just stay in it. Like just because you're in a different environment.
I am funny with Christina. Like that's like part of the linchpin of the relationship.
Imagine.
That's like the foundation of it.
Yeah, but imagine you. Yeah, I'm different. I'm funny with Matt, but in a different way. Like I'm the dumb one, you know. So I just do dumb things all the time, and then he laughs at me. You
play dumb. Or you make mistakes and you just go.
I make a lot of mistakes that he's like.
No, I do too.
Yeah, it's bad.
I'm the other one day, who can't function.
Yeah, I can't function.
Yeah.
The other day I walked in, I was like, I got out of the shower and I was naked and I was like blow drying my hair, and he goes, "Oh, this is a good outfit." And I went, "What? I can't be naked in my own room?" And then he's like, "No, it's actually the slippers you have on." So I was like naked with like slippers. These slippers, and I didn't even realize it. And I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm dumb. Yeah, that's a fair situation." Like I'm like, living with me must be really weird. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm usually dropping things
all
or
the
I
time.
can't see something. She goes, "No, it's right there." And I go, "What? Where is it?"
Oh my God. Does she get annoyed with you?
Oh, big time.
He gets so annoyed with me when I drop things.
At this point, she's just nagging me pretty much 24/7.
Yeah, it's the worst.
And they're new nags too. They're big, life-changing nags. Where it's like, when are we going to have a baby?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a toughie.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of
Sometimes
nagging.
I'll drop something. He'll go, "What was that?" And I'll go, "Nothing." And then I'm like rushing to clean it up. So when he comes in, it's not there. Oh God, it's
rushing,
the worst.
spills.
Yeah.
Coffee grounds. And I'm just rushing.
Oh yeah.
And then I do such a bad job cleaning. It doesn't matter how much I rush.
Me too.
She's gonna find something.
She hates the way I clean. Do you ever the other day I couldn't find something. I couldn't find the keys, and I called him and I was like, "Where are the car keys? Where are the car keys?" And he was like, "Oh, well, I thought I put them on the dresser." I was like, "You didn't." And he had them last. And then he was like, "Check my pocket." So then I went to check his pocket, but then I saw that they were in the office, and I was like, "Oh fuck, I put them there." And he's like, "If you can't find them in the pocket, maybe they're in my other pocket." And I was like, "Oh, nope, they're here." Because I didn't want him to tell him that I was the one that lost them.
Yes, I've lied a lot.
Did you do that? Yeah.
I've been like, I've been so confident that I was right about something, and then I find out that I was wrong, and then I just pretend that we never had that conversation. Yeah.
We sound only children.
Deep like debate, crazy argument. I look it up online. I'm wrong. It never happened.
Yeah. I'll pretend I didn't. This must be an only child thing.
Like we were just at brunch. Her parents are in town. Like I said, we were just at brunch, and she got something with locks on it because I'm converting her to Judaism.
Okay.
And I was like, "That's smoked fish," and she said, "No, it's not." And I haven't even looked it up yet. But if I'm wrong, we'll never talk about it again.
It's cold smoked.
It's smoked.
It's cold though.
Thank you. I was right. So now I'm gonna tell her that.
Yeah.
Because I was right.
It's right. It's cold. It's cold. It's just a different process.
It's still. I thought
it's
it was
a different
smoked.
process. Yeah.
So she's wrong. I'll tell her.
There you go.
Yeah.
But to say I said it, so if she doesn't look it up, because if you look it up, but I'd be still kind of scared to trust me because we clearly do the same thing.
Also, yeah. But I was gonna say, I think something that a lot of comics have in common is we're messy.
Yes, I'm very messy.
Right?
Very messy. Not
and
all
I like
of
to
us.
think it's because I'm like some sort of
genius
artist.
Me too.
Like I remember when I was a kid, I wouldn't clean up very well, and my mom would go, "You got to clean up," and I go,
"Me too."
I'd go, Einstein had a very messy room.
I would just
and she'd go, "You're not Einstein."
That's amazing. That might be an only child thing though.
Yeah,
because like eventually they will clean up after us.
It's inevitable. Yeah, you can get away with it because
you're the only one.
No matter how bad it is, it's probably going to get rectified because you're the only one.
Yeah, so it's not a huge mess.
Yeah, it's a small mess.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time they don't even talk to you about it. They just clean it without even thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, honestly, when you're an only child, it's fun to talk about this because I never talk about being an only child.
Yeah.
You're just kind of in their way.
Yeah.
I remember my parents took me out like when I was a baby in a container basically.
Yeah.
They went out to dinner somewhere and they just left me there.
No way.
By accident, because they were used to going out to dinner. They're like, "We're not going to change our life." They took me with them.
Yeah.
And then 20 minutes after driving home, they're like, "Oh, fuck, he's at the restaurant."
Oh my God. It was like we were like a carry and go cup.
Like a carry-on luggage.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm
travel mug.
I'm changing nothing.
Yeah.
But there's a baby with me now.
Yeah. No, my mom, I went everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
But even to this stage, like, I don't understand how you can't clean up properly. And Matt says it too. And I'm like, I don't know. Just the way it is.
Well, and it's like, a lot of people would say that's being spoiled. But a lot of the time, I think it's kind of lazy parenting.
No, my mom really, really tried. But I do think that if it's in your blood to be messy, you're just going to be messy.
Yeah.
You can just handle a mess. I'm much cleaner if I'm around a messier person.
Yes.
Then I'm very clean.
When I've had roommates, I clean like crazy.
Yes.
Just out of spite. I'm like, fuck, what the fuck are you guys doing? And then I live on my own and it's disgusting.
Yeah, but if you, oh, I'm pretty good now, but like when Matt's here, I leave everything by accident and then it's cleaned.
Then he cleans it.
Yeah, and folds everything.
Well, and Christina does a better job than I do.
Yeah, he does.
So like, do you want me to do the dishes bad? Or do you want to do them?
I go,
because I'll do them bad.
Well, I'll go, I'll do the dishes. And he goes, no.
Yeah.
And I go, okay.
Yeah. And that's because we're virtuoso comedians. That's why we can't get it together.
We can't get it together. I can't get it together at all. Yeah.
Yeah. So that wraps the episode.
Okay.
Do you have anything to plug?
Yeah, do you want to plug some stuff?
Yes. I have a podcast called Whoa Dad where I teach my dad how to be a father.
I was just on it. It was great.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah.
At the beginning, that's what's happening. It's me teaching my crazy dad, how to be a father. And now it's talking to people of how their parents fucked them up. And it is amazing. Ben was just on it. Great story.
And I've heard good stories from other people.
Oh, you have?
Who I've overlooked as human beings.
Yeah. And then I have another one called Recovering Toxaholic with Monterey Martinez, where we talk about all the toxic things we did and how to overcome it. Yeah, overcome it. And what else? Instagram, Nikki Bon. TikTok, Nikki Bon. YouTube, Nikki Bon. And I think that's it.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
Thanks for doing it.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was fun.